We all want to be happier, but how do we get there? First, we start by realizing happiness is not a destination. Being happy consists of micro action steps every single day. I'm your host, Brittany King, and I'm here to guide you along the way. Hello, my beautiful friend, and welcome back to the Positively Real podcast. How are we doing? How are we feeling? How's the summer going? We are in full swing of summer, and I decided that June was going to be the month of health. And it just happened that the interviews that I had scheduled all kind of fell into this category around health, specifically gut health. So I'm going to save that conversation for later this month because gut health really is this missing piece to our overall health. But what I wanted to record today for you are the pillars of health, or how I view health in my life and my client's life. So when a client comes to me and they're feeling very down, or their energy's off, or something just doesn't feel right, and they're kind of looking at all these external circumstances, I always slow them down and I go back to the pillars of health to help them really reassess and reflect on how they're taking care of themselves first and foremost. And that's like what we all need to be doing on a regular basis, is how are we taking care of our health? The way that I viewed health for so long was just physical health and going to the doctor, as most of us do, getting our yearly checkup. But health is so much more than that. Over the past 8 years, I've really uncovered that health is physical, it's mental, it's emotional, it's spiritual, and it's all connected. And it all connects to the physical body. It manifests in the physical body, but a lot of time, what we're challenged by in the physical body, we've had symptoms or warning signs from these different areas: our mental health, physical, our spiritual, emotional health. And when we don't pay attention to those signs, it manifests in disease, in sickness, in exhaustion, in skin conditions, all sorts of ways. And so usually what I find, that if we're ignoring the other areas of our health, that by the time it gets to our physical health and manifestation of an ailment, not that it's too late, but there are ways to be proactive. And I really wanted to share this episode with you today to help you be proactive. So anytime you're feeling a little off, be honest with yourself and check in with these areas of your health. So whether you're looking to enhance your physical, mental, or emotional well-being, these pillars provide a foundation for a vibrant life. And so we are going to dive into it today. So these are in no particular order. I kind of wrote them out as how I view my pillars of health. Like when something feels off, it's usually like in this order. This is kind of my check-in point. But for me, if I don't move my body in a day, I feel all sorts of off. And I used to think that movement was like physical activity, and I needed to be physically doing something, breaking a sweat, challenging myself in order for it to count as movement. And that couldn't be further than the truth. Movement is any way that feels good to move your body, moving to feel good, not to fix something, to lose weight, to just feel good, to feel strong, to feel capable. And as I'm recording this episode, I am 31 weeks pregnant, and I have been so blessed with the second pregnancy. I've been able to work out essentially every day. And when I say workout, it hasn't been just lifting weights, which that has been my main focus. It's just I've been craving feeling strong, and I've been doing a lot of F45 But I've also just been walking. I've been doing a lot of stretching. I've been doing a lot of restorative movement, and just any kind of movement just helps me feel good no matter what. And it's so funny when I go and work out and people are like, "Oh my God, good for you for working out." And that's just like, it's not even I can even give myself like the option not to. Like I just move my body. Like I just move my body in the way that feels good to me. And so it's no surprise that incorporating physical health or physical activity into your daily routine is crucial for maintaining overall health and well being. I mean, we all know it. The research is there. If you've done any sort of workout, the feeling you get after feels so good. But I think it's just important to not get in that black or white, all or nothing mindset, because movement is so much more than just going to the gym or workout class, right? It's about finding ways to stay active throughout your day. So, like I said, walking, stretching, doing any sort of movement that you enjoy, dancing, yoga, Pilates. It's not a one size fits all. And a lot of times people are going to tell you what the best workout is. And it's really important that you remember that you are your highest authority and you just have to figure out what feels good to you. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, you need to spin because I've been spinning for 12 years. Like that's not for everybody. And quite honestly, I've had to cut back on spin a ton, especially when I started trying to get pregnant because all the cardio was actually more detrimental to my physical health. So you really have to pay attention and tune in to your body and what's happening inside your body, as you find movements that really align with you, that you enjoy. And so, it's important to have aerobic exercises where you can get your heart rate up. And it's not even like long periods of time, just like even fast paced walking, like can get your heart rate up. And that can really help you build cardiovascular health, which is very important, but you don't need a lot of it. And that's what's really important is just something to get your heart rate up, but it's not this like crazy overextended way. And then I think it's also important to have something that helps you build strength. And strength classes are not the only way to build strength and build muscle. There's tons of different ways that you can do that. And I think, again, it's just what feels best to you. And then the other element of movement is that stretching, yoga, just gentle stretches, just really helps you with your mobility, range of motion. And I think the most important thing is it helps prevent injuries down the road. And another thing that I've noticed with stretching is like we hold so much in our bodies, we hold so much emotion in our body. We get stuck in our body. And I find that stretching is just a really gentle way to help move that energy through our body. So, obviously, nothing that I've shared right now is groundbreaking. You've heard this before, but I think the biggest thing when it comes to movement is consistency, setting yourself up for success, setting a realistic goal, and finding activities that fit your lifestyle. That's what matters the most. It's not about perfection. It's always about progress and making movement a joyful part of your daily routine. If you love listening to podcasts, pop in a podcast and go for a walk, get on the treadmill, move your body a little bit, right? If you love stretching, but you haven't gotten to a yoga class in over a year, there's so many resources. I mean, there's apps, YouTube videos, like there are ways. You just have to be realistic with yourself and focus on progress a little by little. And as always, I say this probably in every episode when we talk about action steps is just starting small and staying consistent, not being perfect, but staying consistent and then maintaining that consistency. A lot of times people will do something for a couple months and be like, I feel really good. I don't have to do it anymore. Now, you might not have to do it as often, but you definitely will lose that any progress that you gained if you just stop altogether. And a lot of times we do that because we feel good and we kind of tricked ourselves that we're like, don't have to keep doing the thing that helps us feel good. So that's number one is movement. Number two is sunlight. Sunlight. Yes, that is right. Sunlight is a pillar of health. And I think it's an overlooked aspect of health and something that is so easy, free, that you can do every single morning when you wake up because it's like an instant boost to your day, essentially. So, really, when you expose yourself to natural light, it helps you sleep better at night. And we'll get to sleep because that's a very important pillar of health. But natural light helps regulate your circadian rhythms and it helps release melatonin, which then you use later on when it's time to go sleepy. But the circadian rhythm controls your sleep wake cycles. So if you can get 15 to 30 minutes of sunlight each day, preferably first thing in the morning, this can boost your energy levels and then improve your quality of sleep, which is another pillar of health, which we'll get to. Now, of course, you want to be safe with exposing yourself to the sunshine, but the fact that this is a pillar of health of getting sunlight and how when I ask a client, I'm like, did you get outside at all today? And it was like, no. I'm like, okay, get off this call and go outside. Like it is so simple and it can make such a difference in how you feel energy wise and your sleep. And I think because these areas of our health are so simple and essentially free, right? Like, yes, you can pay to go to a fitness class, but like you don't have to. Like you can go for a walk, that's free. Sunlight's free, right? Right. And getting that vitamin D on your skin, that's free. You don't even have to buy the supplement, right? If you can get enough sunlight, intentional sunlight, you can get the benefit of vitamin D, which is important for your bone health, immune function, and just overall mood. It's like these simple things, but are we, again, like, are we making time for it? Are we spending 15 minutes outside when we first wake up, or are we spending those 15 minutes on our phone in bed? Again, no judgment, but just checking in with yourself, not judging yourself, getting curious of, yeah, maybe I can just have my cup of coffee outside instead of looking at my email for the day. Email will be there and the sunshine will be there too. But that critical time first thing in the morning, that's not going to be available all day long. And you also don't want to go outside and risk, being outside in the peak hours of the day, right? You want to be intentional and mindful about that as well. All right. So, pillar 3, nourishment. Now, I started as a health coach and I've probably studied and explored almost every diet under the sun. And every single diet says the same thing. They all have like their own different nuances and rules, but like really at the end of the day, it's eat minimally processed foods, avoid refined sugar, drink enough water, get enough sleep. And then, of course, they have their, if it's a carnivore diet, eating only meat, if it's a paleo diet, not eating legumes. Like it's just, of course, there's like the other rules to the diets, but like that's what they're all saying. And I'm not even a diet fan. I even hate the word diet and I hate thinking about like following something that's really strict because that's something that I used to do. It's really about nourishing your body in a way that fuels your body, that feels good for you and your body type. Now, nourishing your body goes way deeper than just food. It also means like, what are you consuming day to day? What are you reading? What are you looking at? What media are you taking in? Like, I think nourishment is, again, not just a physical thing. I think it's also mind, body, spirit as well. But, when we think about having nourishing foods that fuel us, you want to have a combination of carbs, proteins, fats, and micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, right? You want to focus on nutrient dense foods simply than just calories. And the more you can focus on nutrient dense food, the less cravings you'll have for processed foods, for sugar foods. So that's a really important piece of our health. And then another piece is like mindfully focusing on your relationship with food, savoring your meals, chewing thoroughly, listening to your body's hunger and fullness cues, actually taking a break from your day, not eating at your desk. Like seriously, 30 minutes, no phone, no email, none of that. Right? This is a huge part of it. This also helps regulate your digestion and just overall helps you slow down. And the more that we can focus on eating nourishing food, consuming nourishing things, drinking enough water, we'll feel energized and fueled throughout our day. So then the next pillar of health is connection. Connection is so important for so many reasons, especially and for our nervous system. Human beings are inherently wired for social connection. Like we are inherently social creatures, and maintaining strong relationships is essential for emotional and mental well being. I know, I mean, we can all talk about this and agree, but like COVID, the hardest part was the disconnect and being online. And it was a beautiful thing that we could be online and connect with people in that way. But it also was kind of detrimental because it kind of created this false connection too with the internet and being with people in person in real life. There's just nothing like it. And so quality time with loved ones, people that support you. When people come into my coaching program, I'm like, who's your pit crew? Who are the people you go to for cheering you on, holding you accountable? Who do you go to when you're going through a hard time? We need social connection. We need meaningful connections that also provide emotional support and help us feel, help us help us feel seen, heard, and understood. All basic human needs. And yes, we can have that on online space, but there's nothing like social connection. I ask my clients every week, have you connected with have you connected with people that support you? And I'm obviously a part of that, but it's important to have that outside of coaching as well. Now, besides social connections, it's also important to have a connection with yourself through journaling, meditation, breath work, something that helps foster self awareness and self compassion. And just being able to do this when you connect to yourself, it will help you be a part of a community and engage in group activities that give you a sense of belonging and purpose. And, for I was like the person that was friends with everyone. And as I've gotten older, I've realized that connection is always about quality connections, not quantity, and really prioritizing relationships that uplift you, support you, believe in you, accept you for who you are. Those are the types of social connections. Because there's also the shadow side of social connections, which is trying to fit in, blending in, with the crowd, not really knowing what you like because you want to be liked by everyone else. Right. There's also social connections that are just not great for you because it seems like it's a familiar type of energy that you might be used to from your past, but it might not serve you in your present and the future, the direction you're going. So it's really important to check in with how those social connections make you feel. Do you feel energized after interacting or do you feel drained? And then you make the necessary adjustments to create those energetic boundaries so that you can maintain your energy and be around people that truly uplift you. And then we save the best for last, is sleep. When I have a client come to me and they're telling me that they're feeling a certain way or whatever is going on in their life, they feel all over the place. I'm always like, how's your sleep? And then it's just like, not great. I'm like, let's start there. What can we do to help improve your sleep? This is probably the most important pillars of health, and it's often sacrificed because of our busy, 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 go, 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 hyper connected lives. Now, good sleep hygiene involves creating optimal sleep environment, comfortable bed, dark room, quiet, and a consistent sleep schedule. I interviewed Dr. Julie Fratantoni on a podcast earlier in May, and I highly recommend listening to that. We talk a lot about sleep. Now, sleep is just a very important piece of our health because of all of the crucial functions that happen while we're sleeping, physical recovery, cognitive functions, all of the things. It's like a detoxification. And when you don't take care of your sleep, your body can't detoxify the way that it needs to in order to run optimally. Like, end of story. It's like so complex, but also so simple at the same time. There was a Huberman Lab podcast about sleep recently, and it's 3 hours and it's very long. It's very in depth, but I recommend listening to it because it really does help you kind of understand the science on a very deep level. But I'm not here to teach you the science. I'm just here to get you to feel inspired to look at yourself and make the necessary small adjustments. So if your sleep is suffering, like most people, start small. Establish a bedtime routine that promotes relaxation. This could be reading, meditating, gentle stretching, anything that is not stimulating. I know you're not going to love me saying limiting screen time before bed, but truly limiting screen time before bed. And it's not going to say don't watch your shows or YouTube videos. Just do it earlier in the night because you want to really create a calming pre-sleep environment because it's going to help you in your quality of sleep. We just recently transitioned my daughter into a toddler bed, independent sleeping. And if we don't do a calming pre-ritual, bedtime ritual, her cortisol spikes. If she goes to bed too late, her cortisol spikes. She has such a hard time getting to sleep, staying to sleep. The nights where we really are great about the bedtime routine, she's not overtired. She goes to bed before she's overtired. She sleeps through the night and she wakes up like a totally different person. So, toddlers, you're the same as a toddler. We just are adults, but toddlers are still inside of us. So I cannot emphasize this enough. If you're listening to this episode and you're like, what area do I focus on first? Please start with your sleep because the other areas aren't even going to work as well if you don't focus on sleep. Sleep is the foundation. And it's really, really simple. Limit screen time before bed, limit caffeine afternoon. I know you're not going to love me for that one either. Sorry. Have a consistent bedtime. Do something calming before bed. And it's really simple. Now, because it's simple, it's easy to write it off. And you might be like listening to this episode and thinking, Brittany, I know all this stuff. And I'm sure you do because it's everywhere. But my hope for you is that you use this as an opportunity to have some curiosity and look at what could be a little bit better. What area have you been ignoring? And if all areas are pretty good, then just start with one that you could make a little bit better. Because the pillars of health, movement, sunlight, nourishment, connection, sleep, they are all connected and they contribute to our overall well-being. So by taking a holistic approach and personalizing these pillars for your unique needs and lifestyles, this is going to create harmony in your life. It's so important to set realistic goals, right? And then continuously to assess your progress. So just because you decide you're going to do something one way doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. Be open to it changing. It's going to be fluid and flexible. I'll tell you right now, me as a mom, my routines, all this stuff has had to completely shift because I have a need that I have to take care of for another tiny human being. And so I have to be fluid and flexible, but that doesn't mean I don't focus on these areas. In fact, I have to double down on these areas so I can show up as the best version of myself for my family. So I hope you enjoy this episode and let me know if you have any questions. Let me know which pillar you're going to implement first. And then I hope you enjoy the rest of the episodes this June because they're wonderful, really great interviews, just very much about the mind-body connection. Really excited for you to learn from all my wonderful guests. All right, until next time, remember to love yourself, own your happiness, and let your light shine. Until next time.